Finance, Chapter 10, Money and Relationships, the final video in Chapter 10, 3.1, Communication is Key. So, I'm going to do you guys a favor, because these intros are just so loud on the music. I'm going to keep the music muted while I can still hear it in my headphones, and then I'll bring the audio in once it's done.
Time you're having any kind of a money relationship, whether it's husband and wife, parents and kids, whether it's working, in a company where we're handling money together, communication is key. Lots of communication and a shared vision or a shared goal of what we're trying to accomplish. For instance, we're trying to accomplish you getting out of college without anybody running up a bunch of debt. Well, then we begin to say, okay, what is my part in that? What is your part in that? And then we have clearly defined expectations created by a shared goal and created by communication that allow us to work together. And that'll cause your relationship actually to become better rather than worse.
Okay, 2 for 2. I've already got comments. All right, so when he was talking about his very important shared vision, shared goal, and you know how Dave Ramsey constantly talks about how his principles are Bible-based. I'm pretty sure I know the reference verse he's talking about, or where he might have gotten this from. I believe it's in the Old Testament. I can't remember if it's a Psalm or a Proverb. I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see here. It's Proverbs 29:18. It says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." All right, more or less, that's it's talking a little bit more than just money situations, but the concept is still biblical, which is that where there is no vision, the people perish. It's not saying physically perish, but the people are not doing well. Okay, so you got to have a vision or a goal for your marriage, as far as what you want to accomplish financially. That vision or goal could be becoming a millionaire, right? It could be buying a house, or it could be starting up some real estate investments, right? You could have various different financial visions or goals, but you got to have one, right? So that way you know what you're working for, you know what you're making all these sacrifices for, you know why you're skipping the McDonald's, right? Because remember, we said finances are all about behavior, right? That behavior is hard to train if you forget why you're doing it, right? It's not easy. It's not easy when you work, a 60-hour work week, and then you're going home on a Saturday night because you worked Monday through Saturday, and it's 5 p.m. and you go home, and then you have to also make dinner. Or you could stop at McDonald's with a nice bright golden arches and the red sign, and golden yellow or yellow and red make you hungry anyway, and you can smell the French fries, right? That's not easy behavior. But if you remember why it is that you're doing this, that vision will help you succeed. So important thing to have, especially when it comes to handling money in your relationships. Always have a vision.
Let's be honest. Some of you have parents who will pay for everything. They willingly hand out cash like an ATM. Others of you have parents who won't give you a dime. Even if you want something and it's important, it's your responsibility. The rest of you have parents who fall somewhere in the middle. And hey, you can't control your parents, but what you can do is talk to them. If you want to learn how to manage money before taking on the bills and responsibilities of an adult, you need to be in open communication with your parents. Talk about your goals. Share your thoughts on money, what you want to start paying for, and the things you may need help with. Respect your parents' decisions. Don't beg or manipulate. The goal here isn't to get more money out of your parents. Instead, it's to become responsible with the money you have.
When it comes to singles and money, time poverty and fatigue can lead to poor money management. Beware when you're single of impulse buying due to stress or the...
Okay, time poverty. Very important key term for your test. I think I said it before in a previous video. Make sure you know what time poverty is. Okay, that's all. Go ahead. Take it away, Dave.
To myself syndrome, sometimes known as a pity party. I deserve a break today. I'm pitiful and I'm going to spend money I don't have. And I just feel bad, and I'm just going to go spend some money. I'll feel better if I spend some money. And all these kinds of things. Be very, 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 very careful of that. 55% of the single moms in the U.S. are qualified as poor in America today. 55% of them, according to the Department of Commerce. And you know, we work with a lot of single moms across the country, and I'll never forget sitting in a small group session with a single mom. And she said, Dave, I was doing this stuff so good. I had my budget down. It was Thursday night. Everything was balanced. I'm working 2 jobs to get this done. I'm so tired, but we were getting there. I was starting to feel like I had discipline and had control. For the first time in my life, I really had a sense of hope. And she said, I got up on Friday morning. We got the kids all dressed to take them to the daycare, load them in the car. We're going down the road. Cloud burst. Big time thunderstorm. About that time, I hear boom, 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 boom. My tire's flat. So she gets out on the side of the road. The kids are in the car. People are driving by. Splash, splash, splash while she changes the tire. So she's late getting them to the daycare. Then she's late and wet getting into work. She comes into work. Her boss chews her out because she's late for work. And so she has to work over because she's late to make up the time and be able to keep the job. And, of course, if you're late for the daycare, they charge you 62 minutes or $62 a minute if you come in late for the daycare. So she comes in late for the daycare. They cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Picks up the kids. She has had the worst day of her life, right? She gets in the car, she's driving home, she's just completely worn out. She said, Dave, I had nothing left in my emotional gas tank. And she said, the kids are in the back going, McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. And she said, before I knew it, I went through and I pulled $20 out of the anytime teller that wasn't in there because my budget was balanced. I had already spent the money and paid the bills. And we went over to McDonald's and got a couple of Happy Meals and we went home because I just didn't have the energy to cook. I bounced 5 checks. The Happy Meals cost me $157. See, you don't deserve that kind of a break today. You got to kind of take a deep breath when the kids are doing that and go, shut up, peanut butter breath. We are going home. And go slap some peanut butter on the bread and do it another day. And I got to tell you, I know it's tough. I know those budgets are tough. We've looked at them for years. It's hard. But I can tell you, you don't deserve that kind of break today. You have to be very careful. It's moments like that that make or break you when you have to be strong. And folks that are single and have never been married or don't have kids, you got to be careful. A lot of singles I talk about, particularly young singles, talk about what they call loneliness spending. Dave, I'd rather eat at a restaurant, even if I'm not eating with anybody, at least there's people around, than sit in an apartment by myself again. I just can't do it. I just want to be around humans. And they go out and they go, or the gang is going out. Even if they don't want to go out with the gang, they go out with the gang just to be hanging out with some people, just to have the touch and the interaction. And every time they do that, they spend money. Be careful with that. A written plan gives the single person empowerment, self-accountability, and control. If you're in here and you're single or you're helping somebody that's single, circle that one right there. Put stars all the way around it. That is worth you attending tonight if you're single. It's that simple. The written plan gives the single person empowerment, self-accountability, and control. How do you prevent mistakes, and how do you put in place the right kind of decisions when you're single? Well, you develop an accountability relationship. Someone to discuss your purchases with, someone to discuss your budget with. Now, who do you use for an accountability partner? You don't use your shopping buddy. I'll get 3. That's not what we're talking about. An accountability partner is someone who's willing to hurt your feelings for your own good. No, stupid, you don't need a new car. It's a flat tire. Buy a hubcap. Shut up. Now, your accountability partner could be your dad, your mom. It could be somebody that you work with. It could be an uncle. It could be your grandmother. It could be your pastor. It can be a friend. But whoever it is needs to be somebody that has old-fashioned values when it comes to money, and they're going to look at you in love and say, you're being stupid. Don't do that. We got to have somebody to knock this stuff off of, to be able to get in our face when it's time and do that. Now, those of us that are married, we know when we get home, we've got immediate accountability. You bought what? That just goes with the territory. And I'm not saying when you're single that somehow you're incomplete. That's not my point. My point is, though, that 2 heads are better than 1. And if you'll reach outside, find that special someone in your life that will get in your face on financial issues or any other issues, spiritual issues, it will cause you to grow and cause you to be able to win. Accountability is an absolute necessity.
Right now.
Okay, so finding an accountability partner can be very difficult. That's why it's so important you build good relationships with your parents, right? Some of you just heard me say that and you're like, ugh, that's the last people I would pick. Yeah, that's a problem, and it's usually your fault if you're the teenager. Build relationships with your parents. Talk to them about money. Figure out what their money values are. And, or maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking, like, my parents have really bad money habits. I don't know if I should use them as an accountability partner. Okay, fine. Maybe that's true. Then the next person I would say would be probably go to your pastor or someone at your church that does have good money spending habits. But 9 times out of 10, your parents are probably the people you should go to. Definitely don't go to anyone that's your peer, okay? And just because someone's 5 years older than you doesn't mean they're not your peer. For whatever reason, as soon as people hit the age of 18 nowadays, some people it's like they grow in knowledge and maturity, right? And then they hit the age of 18, and then they just bottom out, and they sit like that until they're like 35, and they just the same dumb, stupid 18-year-old from 18 to 35, right? And then from there, they either kick it into high gear and they're like, oh, I need to grow up, and they go up, or they're like, oh, well, I've been a loser for the last 13 years. I guess I'll just go even lower. Okay, so if you know that type of person, you've met them, you know who I'm talking about. Don't pick that guy. That's not your accountability partner. Okay, just build better relationships with your parents. I don't want to talk to my parents. They're old. Exactly. They know more. Okay. All right. Talk to your parents.
Of writing out a budget and sticking to it is still pretty new. As you're working through the process, you're probably discovering your strengths and weaknesses with money. Hopefully, you're creating a financial plan that works for you. No matter what, though, it's going to take practice. You'll make mistakes along the way, and hey, that's okay. So don't be too hard on yourself. The important thing is to keep moving forward and never give up. Hey, learning to manage money is like learning other new skills. Many people need a coach or a teacher to learn something new. That's why an accountability partner can be so powerful. Find an adult in your life that you trust, maybe a parent, grandparent, or teacher, to help you stay on track. Ask them to be honest with you and to remind you of your short and long-term goals. Someone to discuss big purchases with. Once you find that accountability partner, make it an ongoing relationship. Ask this person to point out any mistakes along the way, make suggestions on how you can stay on track, and celebrate with you when you reach your money goals.
Oh, hey, journal question. All right, hey, that's the end of the video. This is the end of chapter 10. Yeah. Well, hey, we made it. This is probably the easiest chapter since I started doing these videos. Okay. Well, hopefully 11 and 12 will go the same way.